My unit is on colonialism in America. The goal of my unit was really to integrate multiple intelligences into every single one of my lessons to allow my students to all have access to learning the material as best suits them. So the beginning of the unit focuses on the background in Europe because there's no way to understand colonialism unless you understand what was happening in Europe at the time. So we start by learning about the Black Plague. Um, Students will collect data and statistics on the numbers of how many people were affected by the Black Plague, including how many people died, and we would focus on just one country in France. And they will do an introspective activity in which they will analyze what it would have felt like to live in France during that time. Afterwards, with an understanding of the Black Plague, you can gain a better understanding of the Renaissance, and this is where students will draw into working together with partners to understand and analyze Renaissance paintings and to really be able to draw conclusions as to the changes that would have happened in Europe during the Renaissance. We also, in the beginning of the unit, focus on Native American life in North America before colonization and what was going on there, some of the traditions, and some of the major tribes. It's very important for students to understand the spice trade, to understand the importance of spices. As part of this understanding of this, we will be doing an ongoing experiment with a piece of raw meat and spices. There will be 2 pieces of raw meat, one with spices, one without, and students will be observing these as the unit goes on. In order to also understand how Europe was able to develop so quickly during this time in the Renaissance, students will study steel and the importance of steel for Europe at this time. Christianity and evangelism will also be a topic that the students will study. They will read first-hand accounts by Christopher Columbus, in which he discusses Christianity and his motives for going into the New World and conquering it for Spain, and his views on how that connects to Christianity. In order to understand Spain's connection to Latin America, students will be comparing and contrasting different dance styles. So students will be choosing from comparing flamenco to different regional dances in North and South America to see how Spanish culture survives today. We're going to spend another day focusing on French culture and how that has survived in North and South America, and students will be studying foods, so they will look up different recipes, they will make a video on how to make these different dishes, and they will compare and contrast the version in France and the version in America. For example, this is a photo of gumbo. The original is bouillabaisse in France. And so students will be comparing the similarities and the differences between these 2 dishes. For students to understand how British culture has influenced American culture, both North and South American, students will be studying first-hand accounts of explorers in England, and then they will be studying YouTube clips on differences in British culture in the modern world, and they will be working in partners to find similarities in the modern world as well between England and America. In order to understand the effects of colonialism on the native people of North and South America, students will read excerpts from a first-person account of a Native American young girl in the U.S. during colonialism. They will also study the Trail of Tears. And then they will make connections on indigenous life in North and South America today, and the challenges that these different tribes across the continents face today. Understanding colonialism is impossible without also understanding slavery, so students will listen to firsthand accounts of former slaves as part of the unit. So I'll play a bit now. And students will be responding to the emotions that they feel while listening to these former slaves' accounts on our class Twitter and also our class blog. Students will also see the effects that colonialism had on West Africa. So they will be using virtual reality to do a Google expedition tour of the point of no return. This is in Senegal, and they will really be analyzing what it would have meant, not only for the slaves who left Africa, but also for Africa, who is now without able-bodied young men for the most part. And they will be analyzing and studying the population differences as well as the financial outcomes, and how that left Africa open during the 1500s to colonialism directly from Europe. So students will also be studying the effects of slavery in North and South America, and they will be doing this through music. They will be studying different genres of music, and they will see and research the connection between slavery and this musical genre that they will have chosen. So as part of their final project, students will be required to post the causes and the effects of colonialism. It is open to interpretation to allow students the freedom to go back throughout the unit and choose from the projects that they've collected, and this is a rubric that they will be graded on, as long as they have the 3 causes of colonialism listed, 3 effects, and 3 additional items. They will get full credit. The 3 additional items could be any of the musical pieces that they have collected, any of the artworks that they have collected, as well as any of the first-hand accounts from the project.